Hello everyone, today I'm going to be fitting a Chameleon side steps to my Range Rover Evoque 2014 15 Dynamic Lux model. As you can see, this is just one of the side steps and a pair of brackets. You can see the side step is uniform, so it doesn't matter which way it goes round. First thing to note is you get two brackets, you get two brackets per side. Now one of the brackets, or two of the brackets, will be marked with R1 and L1. So I've already fitted the left front side one. This is for the right side one. So this is the driver side front, and the two back ones are generic. They have no markings, so they should be fine. Okay. Second thing to note, when you look at your side step on the side, you'll see a bunch of holes all the way down. A lot of them will be just drilled holes, but you'll have two with a plastic kind of nut coming out of it. And two screw holes either side. Now what this allows you to do, if I can quickly do this, is allows you to remove the little plastic nut, retaining nut, and move the female screw holes to different positions depending on your model. Now on my one, they come out the box kind of generic the same. On my one, I need to move them to the second from the front and to the last one, right? And it's pretty simple. You just tap if you tap it or shake it, it kind of moves down. And once it's in position, we replace the plastic nut in the middle in order to hold it there. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is look at the tools we're going to be using for this job. Now, I'm losing daylight already. So first of all, out the bag, you're going to need 4 of these. I think it's a T10 with a washer. So 2 per side step, and this will connect your bracket to your side step. The other thing you'll need is a pair of these, a big bolt and another 10-inch bolt with the rivnuts of each. Now this one, the big one, will go on the side of your vehicle, and this small one will go underneath the vehicle for the to hold the bracket in. Okay. Next thing I'm using a drill as a screwdriver with a T30 hex nut on there, or hex attachment, and that's basically just to help take out some of the trim from the tire near the tire side. You're going to need a pencil because we're going to do some marking. We're going to have to do some cutting for this on the existing trim. Pair of nose pair pliers, because when you try to take out some of the plastic rivets underneath, the head on them will get damaged and you'll have to kind of pluck them out. So we're going to show you one of those to show that. Next thing you're going to need is a wrench with 10mm, and I've got just another one for ease for the 13mm. So these are the 2 bolt sizes we're working with. A Phillips screwdriver to help take out the plastic trim clips. And then you're going to need a plastic trim remover. This is just for ease and not to damage your car, the trim. And this shaped one is very useful. Okay. And finally, a hammer in order to knock in your riv nut if it's not going in with ease. As you can see, I've fitted one already. Apologies for the dirt on the car and the time to wash it. And what I'm going to do is take you through the process of doing the driver's side one. Alright, so let's get started on doing this side. So let's do some orientation quickly, just to make sure we know where everything is. So these are the hex bolts that you have to take out. So easy to turn your tyre, the wheel, so you've got a bit more room. Take these 3 out, okay? Next thing we need to do, go underneath, show you on my vehicle. Let me see where this is. Okay, you've got these plastic screws. Right now, I was able to get some out with just using the screwdriver, but what I'll show you is later is that some of them won't come out, and that's why you need the nose pair pliers to help pick and pull them out. Right? They're not in a particular screw fitting. They're in a plastic kind of pushing in a plastic clip. As sorts, right? So you've got them pretty much all the way down. Yep. So you've got 2 there, 2 here, one at the back, I think, and one at the other side. All right, so I'm going to remove those, and then we're going to continue. Okay, as you can see, I've removed the 3 bolts from here, and what you do is give this a little bit of a sharp tug, and you'll see it come off from the clips. Now you can see this kind of Christmas tree type connections or brackets. If you give that pull, it should come out. Probably a good time to give it a clean. You can see there's a bit of mud and dirt. There's a bit of concrete there. I don't know what that is. All right, take that out and clean that up. And I'm going to come back and show you after I've removed all the clips from the bottom of the trim. Okay, so here's an example of one that the screwdriver just will not take out. It will just keep spinning in the middle. So this is where your pliers come in. This will actually destroy the head of it, but if you get it in the middle, try and just dig at it a little bit, you'll get a little grip on it. And you should be able to pull this straight out. Making a bigger mess here. Alright, here we go. Got it out eventually. Obviously I have damaged the top of it, but you're able to dig it out, and as you can see, it's a screw, but if I pull out the fitting as well, you can see it's not really a female for a screw. It just, when this goes in, it keeps the pressure on the side, so if you pull it out directly straight, it should be okay. Okay, so here's an example of one that the screwdriver just will not take out. It will just keep spinning in the middle. So this is where your pliers come in. This will actually destroy the head of it, but if you get it in the middle, try and just dig at it a little bit, you'll get a little grip on it. And you should be able to pull this straight out. Making a bigger mess here. Alright, here we go. Got it out eventually. Obviously I have damaged the top of it, but you're able to dig it out, and as you can see, it's a screw, but if I pull out the fitting as well, you can see it's not really a female for a screw. It just, when this goes in, it keeps the pressure on the side, so if you pull it out directly straight, it should be okay. Okay, a lot of these clips you can take out directly with your fingers, but some of them you can't, so this is where the pry tool, the plastic trim tool, helps, because it helps pull them out quite easily without making much mess or damage. Okay, next we're going to take off the trim. So I've taken off the bottom clips all the way around and the front 3 bolts. What we're going to do is pry the trim away this way, now away from the car. So you're going to have to open both car doors, and you're going to need your trim tool and your pencil. Now I'll tell you why you need the pencil in a minute. So get your trim tool in here, and it might be helpful having 2 trim tools. And as you can see, maybe here you can see where the rivets are kind of attached to the car. Now if you work your way round, be careful because this does damage quite easily. You can see them pop out. Okay, now this is hard to do one-handed. You may break a few. There are some additional ones in the comes with the kit itself, the side steps itself, so you could replace them if need be. Okay, so I'm going to do this and I'm going to come back to you. Okay, I've successfully pulled the trim away from the car. I did have found a little technique that's useful. If you have one with a V on it like this, when you pull it away, if you put that directly over the rivet area and give that a pull, the plastic rivet, it comes out much easier. All right, so there's two things to notice. There's a dent at the front here, or indent. There's an indent here as well, near the front side. That was the back side. And what you're going to do, this is where your bracket will go. So you're going to have to remove this plastic piece. Right. This is where your big riv nut will go for the front application of the bracket. Now, before you move your plastic away, so your trim away, you're going to have to make some markings on it, because you're going to have to cut it for the new bracket, because it's not going to go around this, right? And I don't think it didn't come in my pack anyway, a replacement trim. Right, so what you need to do is basically put it almost back, right? Get the holes lined up, right? So I'll use the black ones as the guide. And what you want to do is mark either side of this, of that indent, the inner side I would say, or just a little bit halfway through the inner side and outside, on the plastic, right? And that's kind of going to be the boundaries of where we're going to be cutting. Okay, so I'm going to do that. It's hard to do it with one hand, so I'm just going to have to eyeball it. Just do a mark there. And do a mark there. And then we'll just kind of line it up later square. So you do that for the front and the back, because it'll make it much easier later on. Okay, I'm back. I did a little bit of a clean, took the guard off, put all the rivets that were left over back. Like I mentioned, if there are rivets still stuck in there, use this part of the tool to get underneath and slowly pry it out, right? Or either side of this. That will stop it breaking the actual clip itself. So in this recess part, we want to remove the plastic grommet, and we want to take your big riv nut that comes in the pack and slide that in. All right, now underneath, if I can get this one. Okay, there is another riv nut, and it is the smaller one. So you want to put that in there, and sometimes you may need a hammer just to tap it in. Otherwise it should, in this case, it went in straight away, no problems. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is take our front clamp. So this is R1, there's the labeling, R1, and we're going to attach it as so to the car. Okay, and we're going to screw that in. Okay, I'm going to come back after I've done both of those. Okay, we're back. So I've put the bolt in there with hand tight initially, in order to put the big bolt and the underneath bolt here. What I would suggest is you tighten the front bolt and get it kind of straight, right? And you leave the other bolt a little bit loose in order for you to do some kind of adjustments later on. And underneath we can, once you put the step on, the plastic trim back and then the step on, then we can do the adjustments afterwards if required, right? So it gives a little bit of maneuverability for us to move this around. Okay, next we're going to do is, I've given this a little bit of a wash. I've marked out the 2 squares that we need to cut. Right, over there. Okay, and what we're going to do, I put this one in line here, so you just cut down here, cut across, etc. What we're going to do is drill a hole here. Again, drill a hole on the inside here and here. I'm going to use a jigsaw, right? And then what will make that easier for me to do, once I've drilled the holes on this side, I can mark a little line on that side and draw the lines on the other side and flip it in order to cut straight down, right? Because it's going to be a bit of a problem. When I was trying to cut it before, this was getting in the way of my jigsaw. Obviously you can do this with a normal hacksaw, etc. But jigsaw is just easier. Alright, I'm going to come back once I've done that. Right guys, I'm back from the cutting. As you can see, I've cut the 2 squares out. It's not the neatest job. You will need a Stanley knife in order to cut the additional burrs, etc. off, just make it a bit neater. Now once you've done that, make sure all your clips are back on properly. Now these clips would have slightly moved, changed, etc. So when we line it up, use the 2 guiding ones, which are the black ones, in order to kind of guide you into the holes, and then make small adjustments and then clip this back in. All right. Don't know if we're going to be able to do this one-handed. I should clear the thing now. And I'm going to use the guiding one over there, and there's one right by the driver's side edge in order to get in. So I need to get this above the front bracket. Right, so I'm going to put this in and I'm going to click it in, so do the same, because I did try fitting the side step first and then this, but it's too hard, so it's better to put this first and then we stick the side step on afterwards. Alright, okay, I'm back. It's all clipped in, the trim's back in place, so it nicely fitted around the 2 brackets here and here. I managed to align everything nicely before I gave it a bit of a push in. Next, we're going to put in the side step, and what you're going to need for this is obviously your 2, I think these are actually 8.8mm bolts, right? You could use a screwdriver initially to get it in, and then I would definitely use a 10mm ratchet in order to get the torque on it. Now, don't over tighten this. I've heard 20 Newton meters worth of pressure to be put on it, or torque to be put on it. I don't know what that means. So just don't do it too tight, because you will shear the bolt. And I've done that one already. Okay. So the other thing to note is we've moved our screw holes, female screw holes, to the right positions. One's at the very back, and this is the second set here, and that should align up with our particular bracket setting now. So I'm going to put that on now, and I'm also going to underneath tighten the nut once it's all in. Okay, and I think we should be done by then. All right. Okay guys, here's the finished result. Both side steps are on now. Got the car cleaned as well. They look pretty good. They feel pretty sturdy. A couple of things to note on conclusion. So one thing I forgot to mention was the rivnut installation. You do need possibly a rivnut tool. There is a DIY rivnut tool that you can use, or YouTube. If you YouTube it, you can just see how people have done it in order to clamp the rivnut in properly. Now actually I missed that part. I've never used a rivnut before, so I'm going to have to go back and retrospectively do that. It is pretty solid. Without doing that, I'll give you a quick go. And it doesn't really move. It's pretty solid. I did check the brackets. I'll monitor it anyway. One more thing else to remember, the nuts that were used for the undercarriage and tightening them in, they sheared. I sheared 2 of those really with simple, using my hand and just a torque wrench, right? So I recommend, I got these 8.8 ones from Screwfix. and they seem to do the job pretty well, much stronger than the ones that come with it. So alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. My review so far looks pretty good. I might black out the silver parts in order to match the rest of the car, but anyway, thanks very much, bye.